This episode is sponsored by SEIU Healthcare. Visit them at seiuhealthcare.ca.
What's good, everybody? You got Jada.
I'm Kai.
And I'm Kim.
And we are calling all boss kabayas and creative kabayans.
It's your favorite break time. Tita break, Tita time out.
And we're so grateful that you're here with us today. We have someone very special in the studio that we're excited to introduce, but we'll get to that later. For now, if you could just take a little moment, like, subscribe, follow, share, you know the drill. Say it every week.
All that good stuff.
Yeah.
Are you listening to her though?
Right?
Like, are you guys taking in what she's saying? I just want to know.
It's like down here somewhere, right? Somewhere down here.
Whenever you do that, I was like, I always think,
I hope it's there.
Yeah.
I hope it's
Kinda
there.
white.
Right?
It's giving put
I
it
need
there.
a chime. I need
Yes.
a chime for that. Yeah,
Actually, let's chime in with the Filipino phrase of the day.
that's good.
What do we got on the docket, ladies?
It's giving verse. It's giving verse of the day.
This one was a little tricky. We did look ahead and tried to practice this ahead of time, and I butchered it, but I'm going to try.
Effort.
Ang tunay na ganda ay nagagaling sa loob.
All together now.
I know. Which means true beauty comes from within.
Hey, snap twice.
Okay, let's try.
Okay.
Okay.
Ang
Ang tunay na ganda ay nagagaling sa loob.
Oh, we didn't do that. Was good. We didn't do bad.
Drea.
Can you get
Jill,
a
pass.
check, please?
Jill, did we pass?
Oh, thank
Lovely.
you.
Okay.
She
the
was
quiz
like,
pass.
I'm just gonna let this one
right?
go. No, I
Yes.
think that was pretty good.
Yeah,
That was good.
That's all right.
So I'm really excited for today's episode because we're about to do a deep dive into a topic that we've been meaning to circle back to for a long time. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback for that topic, and we're gonna up the ante because we got a special guest with us today.
Yes,
Okay,
we do.
We do.
And today's special guest, she's the passionate force behind HAIRLOVE Studio, which is based here in Toronto. And this is a salon that is rooted in culture, community, and most importantly, self-love. Yes. She's nationally recognized as a hair expert with over a decade of TV experience. And if you've seen her on TV, you've probably seen her on the Marilyn Denis show or The Good Stuff with Mary Berg. So today's Boss Babae is originally from Winnipeg, but she came to Toronto to pursue her dreams of entrepreneurship, fashion, television in 2006, and her journey led her to then launch LBhair in 2011, and then founded HAIRLOVE in 2016.
Wow.
Amazing.
Which is amazing. So this woman that we have today, she embodies everything from creativity, heart, and hustle, all while balancing being a mother, a sister, a wife, and an entrepreneur. So without further ado, let's all give it up for Loriebelle Nestor.
Hey. And the tears are starting.
Yeah, we have not even started. That
sweet.
intro, and I'm good. Thanks for having me. You guys, thank you. That was beautiful. Thanks for
we are
having
so
me.
happy.
I'm a
to
chain
have you.
reaction crier, so like,
Oh my goodness. So yes, how are you? And we saw actually that you went to the Philippines
Yes.
recently.
Yes.
How was that?
You guys, that was amazing. I don't know, if anyone is out there like me, I'm 42 years old now, and it was my first time ever.
Oh really?
I have
Oh,
never been to the
okay.
Philippines.
42.
Nice.
Wow.
42, I know.
Where?
I know,
42
right?
where, first
we,
of all?
We get that. I think that's in our genetics, and I'll take it for our ancestors that will forever always, what do they say, Asian don't raisin? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I also think that we're forever young, Filipino soul. So, but that, let me tell you guys, like that trip was life-changing. You know, like I went through all of the emotions, everything from like the guilt of not going sooner, but also
think of that.
the reconnection to identity, to be like, it was the first time that I allowed, like, practice speaking Tagalog.
Yeah.
And the first time for my kids who are mixed and my husband who's not Filipino, hear me speak Tagalog and communicate with our people. So it was like so many different emotions, and feeling like you're going to Philippines, Manila, a whole foreign new country, but I also felt like at home.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I was like, oh my God, it's my tito, that's my cousins, like they're all there. And then to also bring my parents back. Since 1978, they never went back to the
Oh
Philippines.
my goodness.
They fled right? So, and then had 4 kids. So obviously, like financially and just like circumstance, like they couldn't get us. They didn't get us back there, which no fault at them. Like they were rooting and starting a whole new life. So being able to motivate our parents to go by us booking first, like we booked our ticket first. And they were like, well, we need to go back. So it was like super emotional and powerful, and them kind of like going through their own like breakthroughs.
Oh my gosh.
It was all of
Chill.
it.
Talk
It
about
was
full
chill.
circle. Yeah, I was just
Right.
Say, what a
like,
full circle moment.
Yeah, so I feel like, you know, there were times where I'd be like, Lord, like, why didn't I come sooner? And then those moments would happen. I'm like, no, this is exactly the time that I needed to come, because it was more for all of us. And it was the way that the journey was supposed to take us there, to really like embrace and appreciate. And also like now, like now my parents want to go back every year.
Oh, I love that.
I know. And now like my ates who weren't able to go, they're like, oh my God, we didn't know that Philippines there was so much beauty to it. I think,
wow.
I don't know, like are we second generation? Like are we technically second, like born and raised in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Like I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's so many different stigmas on like going back home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I've had family friends and say like, oh, I've been back when I was like 13.
Yeah.
But it's different when you're an adult.
Oh, for
You
sure.
can fully
Oh,
take it in.
Right.
Yeah.
You fully get to take it in. And like I also think it's also it's how you want to see it, and like your own exploration. Like why hold it to, oh no, like I heard it's like this, I heard it's like that.
Yeah.
Oh, back there my parents had to deal with that. But that's not fair. Like I think I heard that so much that I was like, I'm gonna go and make my own like exploration, discovery, and
Fearless.
on my own.
Dora.
And it was honest, totally Dora moment. Totally Dora moment.
Totally Dora.
And it made it so, I mean, you see the beauty, but you also see the hardship. You see the poverty, and you see it all.
That's
but
real though.
it's so real.
Yeah.
So all to say, I want to be like the new Filipino ambassador to like go and travel, and let's all get on a plane and go, because I think there's so much story, there's so much yet for me to discover and learn. But yeah, that was
Loriebelle Travel Agency opening soon.
adding to my list of
They
things.
have those travel groups where they set up, you should set up a group.
And you
All
hear that
we
from
just
so many
jump-
different
Yes.
cultures, no? Like
Yes.
I hear that, oh, this culture does this for their kids at a certain age. Like, why do we not have that for ours? Like, how are we not showing the next generation? They should go back.
Oh, yeah.
Because
our
because that's how you hold it. It's true. And if someone had that for me, I would have been on. Like I actually took Tagalog as an option in grade 10 because yeah.
First of all, what school?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Winnipeg does it again.
and it's because it has the most Filipinos per capita in Canada.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Which it's obviously because it's smaller, but I feel like we went on the wrong, we went on a different boat. Like mom and dad went there, and I was like, yo, it's so cold.
Yeah.
The other went to like San Francisco, or, I was
yeah,
like, mom, you went on the wrong boat. But all to say, I was like, cold
so
winter
funny.
Canada, or like San
Bay.
Francisco, San Diego,
Yeah.
the Bay
Yeah.
Area.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, we have like distant cousins there. But anyway, all to say, no regrets. But I think what I kind of learned from that was like, okay, we have the culture, but it was different times then. Like it was all about. I remember asking my parents, why don't you teach me Tagalog?
The $1 million question.
We've had that talk, yeah.
Right? And they're like, well, you're not going to get anywhere with that. You need to learn English and teach us English. But it wasn't until I'm the baby of 4, right? So I have 2 older ates and a
bunso.
kuya.
Okay,
Bunso energy.
Yeah.
Bunso
I
energy.
can tell, I'm not gonna lie.
It's
not
like
gonna lie.
fearless, and you got to try, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, like this is all wrong. Like I want to know how to speak our native tongue and our language and keep it going.
Yeah.
And in grade 9, 10, they had as an option.
Wow.
That's
I would have
amazing.
definitely taken
Yeah,
that.
I would've
If we had that as an option, I would
Right?
have signed
Yeah.
up.
That would have
And my
trumped
teacher
my
is like Miss
100%.
Denisha. She was like Ma'an Denisha, Miss Saigon.
Oh,
That was my teacher.
oh,
my
wow.
Shout out, Miss Denisha. I love you.
Wow.
Till this
Oh,
day,
nice.
it was so great how she encouraged us to like keep it going.
Yeah.
But it was up to us, right? It was an option. You didn't have to do it, but you got like 5 credits. Anyways,
To get the option and the credits, though?
I know, right?
Wow.
Side note, Rosetta Stone, apparently they offer Tagalog now.
Finally.
No way.
Yeah.
When I first did it, it was a couple of years ago, they
about
didn't
time. Yeah.
offer it to Canada, but no, it's there now. The first segment is free, and then,
That's a good.
but yeah.
It's about time.
It is about time.
Yeah, but I think that's so healing just to hear the full circle journey of going back to the Philippines. And I think that's something that all of us can relate, and what I think is part of like Tita Salita's mission as well. It's like we were all born in North America, but now it's like, how do we reconnect?
Yeah.
How do we keep our culture alive?
Totally.
And that can look different for different people, but
Well,
Yeah.
even as someone who wasn't born here,
Yeah.
going back there when I was 13. I was born in Davao. I went there when I was 13. And just like you said, I didn't have that appreciation. I was more like, don't call me, Coca is actually my Filipino name.
Okay.
I was like, don't call me that.
yeah.
But then going back at 20, it was like, wow, this is different. So it definitely grows with you as you get older. So it was really the perfect time for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, and I think for me, it was interesting. Like, everyone thought I was mestiza there.
Yeah.
So my hair is lighter. My Tagalog is Tagalish.
Foreign.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, but you're mestiza. I was like, actually, no. I'm full Filipino, just born in Canada.
Yeah.
So it was, but they appreciated that I tried to put the effort in. And I think I even FaceTime my dad. And my dad's like, Lord, stop talking Tagalog. They know. And I was like, Dad, no, you're the reason why I speak like this. You know, shut up. But yeah, I was like, Dad, no,
That's
don't
so
say
funny.
that. But I think it's I always say, like, I don't fault my parents. I think it's what they were taught and thought they had to pass down. So I think now me being a mom, it's like me deciphering like what values to kind of pass on and then what to unlearn and relearn and teach. So that's kind of what we're talking about on today's segment.
Exactly.
Such a perfect segue
Yeah.
to jump into
There you go.
that. Like, what are some of the things, we're talking about the great things that you had to unlearn and you're rediscovering and discovering and experiencing for the first time. What were some of those things that maybe you didn't experience growing up or wish you experienced or were experiencing that kind of helped shape who you are today?
Take a second, take a breath.
Tissues on set.
Guys, like, it's funny when people say, oh, you're in the beauty industry. Because growing up, I never would put myself in that box because of like, oh, I was so beautiful. Because it wasn't about that for me growing up. Like I said, I'm the baby of 4. And for my family and how I was raised, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like sometimes our Filipino families, they mean well, but they don't say, they're so blunt in ways of thinking that's like saying bad things is a nice thing.
Yeah.
So you had, like I was the tabachoy sister. I have my 2 skinny sisters, then my kuya, and then me. I also grew up as the tomboy because it was my ates together, then my brother, then me. Like, I always think so much of who you are is from your upbringing and how you were raised, right?
Yeah.
And when you think of, I'm an 80s baby, like you think of, there's 2 things, right? Like, you see like the pageant kids. Like, I knew cousins and friends who were like, oh, Filipina pageant girls. And then you had the ones that are like super, we were more like family church, there's all the different kind of areas of where you're at. And also like how we were raised, it was like all about don't show too much.
Yes.
Don't show too much skin. Don't get too dark.
Yeah. Oh,
Make
that
sure
one.
you're,
Yeah.
like
one.
all those type of stigmas of how to present yourself.
Yeah.
I think there were so many of that. And even for me, like, it was funny, like if you talk to some of my like older sister's friends, they're like, oh my God, Laura I remember her being this. And like they associated me so much with kind of like the younger sister, and like that it's almost opposite. of like being in the beauty industry. So I think where I'm going with this is like you never know where you're gonna, like I think going through kind of my journey of maybe not having that attention, I also learned how to strengthen my backbone. I was like, you know what? I might not be like the skinny sister. I might not be the one that's always dressy because I was like tomboyish, but I'm the one with the strong personality.
Hey, talk about it.
And I remember, I don't know, I think it was my drama teacher or something being like, that is your strength. That is your superpower. Don't lose that, you know? And then I think that's, for me, what you guys started with, like beauty is in the inside, straight up. That's literally what I gravitated to.
Yeah.
And I held to being like, you know what? That's okay. I have my best friend who's this. I have, you know, like they wore those crowns. I'm gonna wear, I'm gonna be friends with everybody because you're gonna love me for my personality.
You're gonna light up the room.
Exactly. That's what I'm gonna bring, and that's what I'm gonna like shine on. And then as the, you know, we all go through those phases. And then once the phases comes, I swear I was like my grade 9 friend that like, she like held me down to tweeze my eyebrows, and I was like, oh my God.
No, seriously, I saw this thing.
Did she overpluck?
She, like
Of
the
course,
thin
We're still
90s.
suffering to this day.
It was the era, guys. Yeah.
Thin and like, yeah, you always have that one friend that's like, oh my God, let me give you a makeover. And
They brought us to the 1940s eyebrow look.
exactly. So it was like the thin eyebrows, and I remember being like, oh my God, like, I have to take care of myself. This also is painful.
Yeah.
Like, beauty hurts. But I think that going into that, and then actually how I got into hair, it was debuts.
Oh, no way.
Like everybody in Winnipeg.
Well, I was going to say, well, you're also based in Winnipeg.
Yeah,
So I can
like-
imagine business was hot. Yeah.
Oh my God, debuts, you
Good
guys?
point.
Straight, like that I capitalized. Like that's
Wow,
how my
nice.
hustle began at 15. So my two sisters,
There you go.
always, they're 3 years older, their friends were having debuts. And then I started to like play with hair because my sisters, like, they're always going out.
Yeah.
And then I started getting good at, my sisters totally pimp me out. They're like, sorry, I'm allowed to say that.
Love the
Yeah,
video.
yeah, no,
We
Okay,
love it.
alright.
We love it. We love it.
My parents are watching this. Great. Shout out, mom and dad. Hi,
Tita.
Love you. Love you. But literally, my sisters were like, "Oh, my little sister can do your hair. Just come to my house. Bring your own hairspray and stuff because she's only 15. Like she doesn't have anything."
Yeah.
But that's legit how I started doing hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
And I made myself business cards at 15. I called it like Salon de L'Or, like because there was
You're
this
entrepreneur.
I know,
right?
straight at 15. And it was the only Filipino-owned salon in Winnipeg. Was
Wow.
called Salon de Manila, actually.
Wow.
But it was kind of like your stereotypical, what you would think it is, but also like, to me it was like they weren't charging enough, things like that. Like what you think it was, it was. And I remember when I told mom and dad I'm gonna go down this route, they're like, oh, you can't just work at Salon de Manila. And I was like, I'm not. I'm gonna aim way higher.
Yeah.
You know, like
Energy.
it was, yeah.
Love that.
And but that's how I started doing hair. I started, literally in my house doing hair, and it took off. I was starting people to hire me to do weddings.
Oh my gosh.
I was already
wow.
charging by then, and then I was like in high school. I'm like, I need to go to school for this because, that's how I started.
Amazing.
I think it's beautiful that at such a young age, the entrepreneur is really born young.
Yeah.
Like you just knew.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes it takes a while for people, but I think for me, I think it was because I did love doing it, and I remember feeling like I want to be able to do something that connects with people.
I was just gonna say that's
You know?
probably that light up the rooms energy,
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
connect with people that helped you.
And also like bringing their inner beauty out, no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I went through my own phases, and I feel like everybody goes through those phases. But when you talk about like the Filipino cultural beauty standards, I think back in the day, you know, it was to become more westernized, right?
That
It's
part.
like I think also just certain expectations of how you should act, how you should be. It's not what it is now.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely the pride, and I think, yes, the teaching of being humble. Okay, be humble. Be humble, don't be too loud. But I feel like to me, that's also like, why not be proud? Like it's a fine line, you know, like stay humble, but don't stand out. Why not?
Yeah.
Like for me, it's like the kakaya, the whole like, oh kakaya. I try to, the whole shame stuff, that's like what I want to break and not necessarily teach with my kids.
Do you think that was the biggest hurdle that you experienced growing up in terms of, I guess, beauty standards or maybe even just overall confidence? Because you did name a few pivotal moments in your childhood, which are all beautiful. But I'm curious, like, what would you say was your biggest hurdle, and how did you overcome that?
Okay, like digging deep and like almost reliving it. Because, you know, sometimes you have that like one uncle or aunt that tries to call you out, like as a kid. I will never forget as a kid, like, I think I was like, and I was a teen, like 13 or something, going into a party for seconds and getting called out.
Oh God. Story. Yeah. Relatable.
Totally, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember being like, oh my God. And like, oh, look, Loriebelle. Oh, tabachoy, she's going in for seconds. Oh, and I was like, I remember that moment.
For sure.
Like so pissed, but also like couldn't find your voice. And like, I remember like taking the second, like walking away, but I freaking didn't eat it because then you just felt like,
Yeah.
but I was a kid.
Yeah.
But also like no one said anything because that's just their like,
It was
maybe
the norm.
old norm
It's
back
the norm,
then,
or
right?
you wouldn't be disrespectful to your elders, so you're not gonna like. You want to talk back,
That
but you
part.
can't.
That's
like,
it. And and that's just it, you guys. Like, yeah,
for
there's
sure.
a respect, but it goes both ways, right? Just
Yeah.
because like your generation, we can't talk back, and you have to, you know.
Yeah.
Nah, I was like, I remember that moment, and I was just like, I am not gonna treat people like that.
For sure.
I'm not, and I'm also like, I feel like it also, that those moments as a kid can create so much insecurities that stick and linger forever. Like even just like thinking about it, you're like, you know, like, oh my God, don't go there. But I think it's like, till this day, I'll always still feel, okay, you know, like, oh, like how, like to learn how to be so comfortable in your skin takes forever and ages. I feel like even not until my 40s, it's like, I'm almost there. And that's long, right? But I think I take that, and I think that's why I took it into going into the hair salon. I like to say like personal care industry versus beauty industry.
Love that.
Because to me, it's not a vanity thing. Like we do hair, but we do more than just hair. We connect, we heal, we support. Like we're people's people.
You guys are therapists.
We're therapists.
Honestly,
You're
I was
literally
gonna
people's
say.
therapist.
Like people, and you know what? To me, like they invest their time, money, effort, and energy, and look forward to coming to see us. Way more than just hair, and it's way more than just beauty. To me, that's why I called it Hair Love, because it's really more than that.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Deeper.
yeah, it's way deeper. And like, I'm like, if you come in my chair, it's yes, you're gonna get awesome bomb ass hair for sure. But
Given, yeah.
given, well, syempre.
Walang biro.
I know, right? Walang hiya over here. No hiya. But I love hearing stories. Like I love hearing everyone's story. Like what brought you here? Like what is it that you're looking for? Yeah, you're looking for highlights, but like where are you in life in this journey and chapter? Like how can I be of service to you?
Yeah.
To help you be your best self. Like that's what I love to do.
I have to shout you out for 1 second for saying that, because I think, you know, there's this thing, it's called the third place. I don't know if you've heard of this. So
that?
people have
Yeah.
their home,
Okay.
their first place, their work, their second place, and then there's the third place. And the third place is the space that you created, where people are able to come and feel fulfilled.
Love.
Wow,
Right?
shivers.
And just
Hair love.
yeah. So like the name, what you're describing, so appropriate. Like you literally have created that third
you.
place for people to come and be themselves and feel seen and feel loved and feel the tears are going.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, sorry. But like, it's so beautiful. And I
Thanks,
think, you know, exactly what you said, it's so much more than that. And I think every successful entrepreneur is like that, is just like this. Like they're focused on the, I don't even know what to call it, like the passion, What problem are you solving?
Yeah.
Right? You're helping people feel seen, feel heard, feel
Totally.
beautiful, feel confident,
Yes.
and all those things that are beyond the vanity, as you
Totally.
said.
Yes.
Like just,
Yes.
It's true.
Thanks
Because
for
sometimes
that,
it can be intimidating also walking into these hoity-toity type
oh my gosh, yes.
boutique salons. I'm
Yes.
like, you can't even just roll into your
Yes.
sweats, right?
Yes.
So to create such a safe space like that is like,
No.
It's true. No, you're right. You can see people dressing up to go.
Thanks
Yeah.
for thanks
like
for
going to
mentioning
Yorkdale
that.
Mall.
Well, because I went through that, guys.
Yeah.
My first
Right.
salon here. No word of a lie. Like, I'm from Winnipeg, like I said. So when I came to Toronto, I don't know anything. I was applying here, there, everywhere, you know, and like not realizing I have to think about where I actually live and the destination, you know? So my boyfriend, husband now, he's like, oh, we live here. Why are you going to all these places? Try and go on the Bloor line. So where does that find me? A job in Yorkville.
yeah.
We know where this is going.
So let's talk
We know
about
where
that.
this
And
story
that's,
time is going.
you know, and that's a huge part of also my story and identity of why I wanted to create Hair Love the way it is. So thank you for that, because that segue, it's like I had to endure
Can only imagine.
all
I
of the
can
things
only
I needed. It strengthened a backbone in me I never knew I needed.
Yeah.
You know, it was really hard to be in that space where it wasn't a safe space, but I had to create my own bubble within of protection and learn how to go through all of the things. Stereotypes,
Yeah.
just unkindness,
Yeah.
like taking
Mean
advantage of all mean girls, all of the
Tahimic.
things. Tahimic, all of the things. And even just feeling like you didn't have a place there, you didn't belong. Or versus service, it was like servant mentality.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good call out.
And I remember being like, you know what? They're not gonna get the best of me. I'm gonna flip it. I think everything is like mindset, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna work my ass off so you're not like here to show you I'm better than this. And I'm gonna also be here as long as I need to be to set what I need to get, then I'm out.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was there for almost 4.5 years. And I mean, it wasn't easy. I cried a lot, you know, like you cried a lot. And then I learned, okay, but I also learned that I definitely stood out because I was like the sunshine in the dark,
Undeniable.
you know, like, and I was like,
Yeah.
and people told me that, I'm like, then that's what I'm going to be.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until my clients in Mitchell were like, Loriebelle, you gotta go. Like, you know, we only come here for you. That's when I was like, okay, you know, like, so it's just like, and I always said to myself, I'm grateful for that journey because it taught me everything not to do. Everything
That part.
I was like, the place that I want to be on doesn't exist. I better freaking create it myself. And that's exactly how Hair Love was made.
What a journey. Look
Wow.
at that.
Talk about a backstory.
So thanks for that. That was good.
Amazing. Wow.
Do you think, like, are there any myths or stereotypes that are like current right now that you'd like to debunk or that, like, popular in opinion, like, disagree with or anything like that?
I feel like let's talk about, you know, I'm going to say, okay, how do we go? Like, being Filipino, it's interesting for those, when I worked in Yorkville, or even when I worked in Winnipeg, because I don't know why I do this to myself, but I do, is like, I want to be it's like, if it doesn't exist, I'm going to make that space for me. I'm going to be the first Filipino that you guys hire, and I'm going to show you.
Right.
And then I hope you then learn. Like, I was the first Filipino to work at this high-end salon in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And they had a really, really like high-end bougie clientele. And right away they'd be like, oh, you're Filipino? Oh yeah, my nanny's Filipino. Oh yeah, I know, you know, Filipinos have great little hands.
Yeah. It's like when they think it's like an compliment, like they think they're complimenting you, but it's
Super
like actually
backhand.
backhanded.
Super
Backhanded
backhand.
compliment.
And I
for sure.
remember, I remember that day, and I'm grateful for like my mentor at the time, and he was like, you can't say that. you can't say that here. You owe her an apology. And I'm so grateful for him till this day, because like I didn't have a voice then. You know, for me, I was that. I'm gonna know my place. I'm gonna be in the background. I was only 20, so that's where you're trying to figure out, you know. And I already knew, oh, I should be grateful because I'm the only Filipino that they had hired at the time. But that was huge for me. Like I think for that one person to kind of like stand up for me, and then gave me permission to stand up for myself.
Yes.
Shout out your mentor.
Yeah,
Wow.
Jeffrey, if he's still there. I think like those key people, it just like that see you, so that you can see yourself and then pass it on, you know. And then I will say I still love that salon till this day, because when I left to move to Toronto, the owners said to me, you know what, Loriebelle, thank you for bringing in your culture and your community here in our salon, and we hope you encourage them to keep coming, and we'll still take care of them. Because it was such a huge, he loved our community.
Of course.
And yes, like every Filipino that walked in, you knew they were coming to see me, you know.
And all the light.
All the, right? All the light, and just joy.
All the light
All
coming
the
in.
joy, love, and we always brought food, like, come on. Naturally. So it was, I think, like, and then that's what I feel like that what became my superpower moving to Toronto, as hard as it was. I was like, that it's not a crutch. It's like, you know, the stigma of whatever they thought Filipinos were or are, and what space that they only take up, I'm gonna take up a different type of space. I'm gonna show you. We are that great in caretaking, but we're even more.
Right.
You know, and my first, if I can share this story, when I first moved to Toronto, I gave myself like 2 months to like settle in. And I just contacted some people to do some freelance stuff. And some of those clients, you know, they're the ones that will pay you to like come to their house to do film festival and things like that. So I went to like Rosedale. So if you guys know, you know, great area. She wanted me to just prep her up, and then I rang the doorbell, and like her Filipino nanny opened the door. And I was like, hi, Ate. And then she kind of looked at me, and I was like, oh, I'm the hairstylist. And she's like, oh, it was such a different type of feeling. I didn't know how to feel, because then I was like, oh my God, am I a part of the help? Like in that moment. And I remember being like, yeah, it was like, I like went to the bathroom. I was like, Laura, get out of your head. I was like, no, this is a service that you're providing, getting paid for. And you know what? That nanny Ate is nurturing that child.
Yes, she
and
is.
that kid is getting the most value and morals and care from her. And this client is gonna get the most care from me. Like in that moment,
Wow.
I had to take what could have broke me and shook me to be like, no, like that. It's a different mindset. Like we have to shift our mentality to be like, no, you're paying me for this service. You paid me double to be
You
here.
need me.
You need me. I don't need you. And your kid, you need her to help you, because you don't, you know. So I think it's those moments that you have to choose.
Yeah.
You have to
Choose your narrative, yeah.
You have to choose that narrative.
Because you were confronted with what could have been a very different,
Totally.
right?
Totally.
Could have gone left, and it's the power of like a reframe, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
Totally.
Yeah.
shift
Because
in
your
mindset.
reflection is based on how you pivot. So.
Totally. Yeah, so it's those kind of moments that I feel like sharing that, like it brings me back as soon as I tell you guys. Like, so thanks for like reliving it, because I think it's important now, I think, for the next generation to know, like, it takes us kind of doing these breakthrough of the walls that they're walking a little bit further than we are.
Yeah.
And facing less, but facing different issues for sure, but hoping that they find their voice faster and louder than us, maybe, you know?
Speaking of that, like, what do you hope that your children or the next generation of Filipina girls learn about the beauty that we probably didn't?
Oof. You know, that's real. Because my kids are 10. I have 2 daughters, Masisa, 10 and 5. And with a mom in this industry, they see like makeup, hair, getting like that's an everyday thing for me when it comes to work, and I teach them that that's mama's uniform, but I still feel beautiful in my own skin without makeup, all the things. I think for this next generation and my kids, it's a different world. You know, they're seeing it on the tablets with the filters, with like such expectations, like social media. We didn't have social media growing up, right? Like, so I think now, for me, I want to teach them that like beauty is so subjective. Like what you think is beautiful, other people, like beauty isn't everywhere in anything, right? It's how you present yourself, how you act, how you treat others, not just only what's outside. It's like from inside, and also how you show up into this world. That to me is beautiful. You know, like when you, like how they treat each other, especially their sisters. So both girls, you know, if they're unkind, I'm like, that's not a beautiful thing. Or if you say something, that's a beautiful thing. You know, I think the word beauty can't just be skin, it's deeper, right? Yeah.
Great lesson.
Yeah. Oh.
No, it's really good. Like I know your kids are mixed, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of what you're saying really reminds me of how my Lola spoke to me. And how I was able to be so confident because I didn't endure a lot of issues that people go through that you described. I didn't have to go through that. And that's because of how she framed my mindset at such a young age to just really understand what it meant to be beautiful, to really understand what it meant to be myself, you know, despite what everyone around me was going around and saying. So that you're doing a great thing.
Thank you.
For your kids.
I think also being mixed, it's like my kids, one, she came home and she's like, Mom, someone said I'm not black.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my God, teaching opportunity. And like my husband's mom, God rest her soul, she passed from breast cancer, but we have like, she's Haitian and he's mixed, French, Canadian, Haitian, and Filipino, thank you. And we have a big picture of her there. And we're like, okay, Nyla, let's have a sit down. You know, like I think from right away, geez, I think at this point she was like 5 or 6. It was so early. So young. But kids love them, but they're also very harsh. And they're like, they don't know better, right, at that age. So I think for her, for our kids, we had to teach culture, not skin color. But seeing color, but what the culture is, you know, like, and we do teach them to see color because you have to identify that with heritage and background and culture and family. So we're teaching that right away. It's like, yes, you are black, you are Haitian, you're French Canadian, yes, you are white, and yes, you are Asian, you know, but you're mixed. I think what's good is like you're seeing Toronto being more and more inclusive that way too, visibly, and so much more representation that I never seen a Filipino on TV ever in the 90s.
Ever. Limited.
No,
Rufio.
Yeah, Rufio. And honestly, like I remember till this day in 2000, there was, and I'm friends with her now, which is amazing, the first Filipino broadcaster, Chris Reyes. I don't know if you guys know her, but shout out Chris Reyes wherever you are. And she's doing big things. She's amazing. So she lived in Winnipeg for like the first 2 years. And I was like, oh my God, there's a Filipina on TV. And I was like, one day I'm going to be on TV. And and it was so awesome.
And look at you now.
And I was it was such an awesome feeling telling Chris Reyes that I was like, I saw you on TV and I told myself, like, you were one of the first to be able to like break that mold, and I got to do the same. So, but yeah, like going back into like kind of like what to teach the kids. I think it's like, it's also like, you know what, I think is to lead by example, right? I feel like when you show them, it's confidence. I think confidence is the true beauty.
Yeah.
Is like knowing yourself and being such a like confident and proud in your own skin, no matter what you're wearing, no matter how tall or slim or whatever. Like I think for me, like my height was a huge insecurity for many years, being petite.
Really?
Yeah, I'm saying it now, which is like the high sneakers. But and I feel like God made me, though I'm super strong faith, but I feel like God, He makes you who you are to really strengthen you, teach you, guide you, and let you be different. And I think beauty is individuality.
Yeah.
And it's not to look like everybody else. You don't, why do you want to look like that? You know, like God gave you that face. God gave you that hair.
Yeah.
Like you need to be proud about that. You know, like I think that's what Nick and I like to teach. Like when I first met him, he had like cornrow braids and like bling bling, and like I took him like my parents were like, whoa.
And I was swept off. You were swept off your feet.
Yeah,
It was 2002.
yeah, you were too. Well, the funny thing is,
down.
it was like everything opposite than I probably ever dated before, because like I was only taught like I remember saying like I could date outside my race, but I'll never marry,
Right.
because that's what I was taught
Yeah.
before. And then, you know, in your later 20s, I'm like, why am I doing it? Like, who am I listening? Who am I listening to? Like, who said that?
Yeah.
Who said that? And
I'm going on a date with him.
yeah, I'm just gonna go.
I like him.
Yeah, but you know, it was my dad was like, he's like, I've talked to you, and he's like, do you have a boyfriend in Toronto? I was like, he's like, you keep going to Toronto. You have a boyfriend in Toronto? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, is he Filipino? Right away, like
Of course.
shot.
Yeah.
And
First
I was
question
like,
always.
I was like, no. Oh my God, do we have to talk about this? You know what Dad said? Dad's like, Lord, we just want to make sure that he accepts your culture, and you're still always going to be proud to be Filipino. And I was like, man, Dad, he's mixed. Like he's like, yeah. But I love that. That's where that came from. Like I was like, shit, am I getting in trouble? Like, is this in the rule book? Like, and not like my siblings all married Filipinos, which is amazing and beautiful. Like, awesome. I was that one that kind of went this way.
Yeah.
I went the other way.
Yeah.
And it wasn't based on, okay, I think it was, I love learning. I love exploring. I want someone to teach me new things, and I want to learn new things, because I think I grow and I get to see the world more that way. So like, that's what kind of my partner and like us doing together is opening the business together. We're like, let's freaking go all in and then start a business together, which is crazy.
The dream team.
The dream team.
Yeah. And that's hard too, like to have romantic and then go into business as well. Like that's a whole
That's a whole other
open
chapter,
part
you
of that.
guys.
Yeah. Part of a relationship.
Yeah, but you know, I think just like any partnership, right? I think it's a relationship and built on, you know, partnership, trust, communication. It's not always rainbows and flowers. Like it's not easy, but I think you need someone to challenge you. Like not to
Right.
always agree with me. Like
healthy kind of challenge, yeah.
exactly.
You don't
right?
need a yes man.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes. On Mother's Day.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's beautiful. It just also makes me like look back, like how long it took for me to get comfortable in my own skin. And even when like you're trying to do all the beauty things, like I remember being so stressed out before like jeans day, because I'm like, I don't have an outfit, I don't know what to wear, like
Literally.
I'm stressing.
Yeah.
And
Because it was your one day to floss.
right?
Yes.
Or like a way to show yourself. But then you have like, you know,
Yes.
the teenagers
Yeah.
and like what's cool, what's not cool. So I love the power of the work that you're doing and what your
thank you.
salon does, because like it just takes all of that away.
Yeah.
And also when you get your hair done, like that's like you're being vulnerable, right? Like you need to be in a comfortable space like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's true. They say that like we're only second to a doctor that actually gets to touch people in the first 10 minutes
Oh wow.
Yes.
I didn't
when
know
you think
that.
of a profession. So it is very vulnerable. It's also very intimate.
Yeah.
Yes.
So to gain that trust from people in the first 10, 15 minutes, like we're the only other ones, like we're touching your scalp, we're touching your shoulders, we're touching your head. And it's that type of trust and intimacy and comfort that you need to build from those people, right? And I think I will say like I'm a proud Filipina and Filipino who brought in so much of our love and comfort and how we treat others into the salon. Like a lot of my best practices that I coach and teach our team, it's because of how we were raised, you know? And like, whether it's the good or the bad, I think I learned so much about just really respecting each other, the family values that we all have, or, you know, like, or want to create.
Yeah.
Because some are not all so good. So then you're like, hey, how do I make it a more peaceful kind of space? And it's actually encouraging. I know it's like, it's great when clients come in and I see them just let go.
Right.
Like sometimes they're just like, oh. We always say, like, our team, shout out HAIRLOVE Studio, that we're like your best hype women, like you guys. Like you're just, and that says a lot, like when you can just be amongst each other and like genuinely love what you do. But I always say now, like I tell the girls, it's like when you're doing the work that goes further and you're creating feelings and making someone else feel better about themselves, that's the true gift, right? Like when it's like when they leave and they're still happy, that's I've done my job, you know? And then when you see them come back and they're loving themselves, that's the best reward.
And they're counting down the days to come back.
That's right.
And they're rebooking after paying.
That's right.
I love that.
Yeah,
And your work probably surpasses after they wash their own hair.
that's right.
You know?
Yeah, and I feel like the beauty, like I feel like for our culture, we don't all have to be pageant models to feel beautiful. That crown doesn't need to come in a shape of the, you know, with all the things. Like I'm 4'0", like 4'11" and a half, to be honest.
That half counts.
That half counts, thank you. You know, like I think it's like the stereotype of, you know, when you think of like a Filipino model, pageant model, a lot of them are mixed, light skin, very tall, slim, you know. But, you know, I feel like that's not what it needs to be like. I just recently came back from Berlin, and I have to say that I felt proud to show our swag and like our culture.
Yeah.
And I was like, I looked around, I was like, okay, I might have been the checkbox of like that token, and that's okay, because I'm gonna bring it and show it. But there was diversity, but maybe the only Filipina on that bus.
Yeah.
And I have to say though, I took that and I was like, I'm gonna show you guys again, and you're gonna fall in love with me and the culture. And what was cool about that is that they celebrated identity. They wanted you to show up as you are, show your personal style, and then and just be you in like a conference room. But it wasn't stuffy, so it's like we got to like showcase like, and I wore like my like a Filipina shirt for sure. Any chance I can, like even on the show on Marilyn, you know, I was always like, I'm gonna wear this, and if someone tells me different, I'm just gonna, you know, like, because you could get to style yourself. So I'm like, why won't I represent when I can? And it was cool because they're like, oh my God, what is those shoulders? Like, those are so different. And I'm like, yeah, these are, you know, modern Filipina ternos. And then I got to teach them.
Right.
So I think this era of where I've arrived is like, let me be a part of like teaching y'all.
Yes.
Like, because now we're here.
Yes.
It took us this long to get here, but now we're here and we ain't going anywhere. So let me now teach you. And like, I think, and like honing that space and not feeling like I worked my ass to get here. You know, like, it's like, no, I'm here, but yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's that story.
Your energy is magnetic.
Aw,
Truly.
thanks, guys. I could talk forever.
You're in the right spot.
I'm like, this is great. And I'm sitting, I'm not standing. I kind of love it. Oh, yeah. So good.
Super comfy.
I know.
You're
I'm
usually
always
standing for hours.
all day long, standing. So this is great.
That's how you get your steps in.
Yes.
So we usually have a time. Do we want to cut into Am I Bustos? We're going to do a speed round.
Okay.
So we have a segment called Am I Bustos?
Okay.
And basically, typically we would go longer and it goes into like a story with all the details.
Okay.
But we're going to do a speed round where we're going to call out scenarios or moments, and then you have to claim if it's rude or not.
Okay.
Yeah, bustos or not.
Bustos or not?
Bustos or not.
All right. So we're just gonna jump in. So, am I bustos for telling my niece she needs to lose weight to get a husband?
Bustos.
Yeah.
No more of
Immediately
that.
bustos,
No
yeah.
more.
Seriously.
No more of that.
Am I bustos for giving my cousin skin whitening soap as a pasalubong?
That's not a pasalubong.
That is not a pasalubong. That's bustos.
Where's the
also.
pulverize?
It's bustos. But I will
Yeah.
say, like, but does Escanol count? Like, is that,
It is.
because it's like a toner slash,
Is it a skin lightener?
Is it Escanol
Some
like
of
that?
them. Some of them.
I thought,
Depends which one.
Just
I thought Escanol was a toner, but then
what happened to
I
dried
feel like I've
mango?
seen
Yeah.
posts where it's argued that it's also a lightener.
Oh my
or like that would
gosh.
count.
See, like, and I think it's so opposite. Like, I love to be tan skin, and like because then
Tell
I'm
me
like,
about
I
it.
look like I got to be out in the sun. Like,
Yeah.
I want like bronzer.
I want that
I want
glow.
glow,
Yes.
and I feel healthier.
Yeah.
I think
Yes,
this
yeah.
new phase where we need to like teach and show like beauty is healthy.
Yes.
The healthier you are, mind, body, soul, spiritual, that is true beauty. Is
Yeah.
like that you need to be healthy and well, mentally, physically, all of that. I think that's what we need to teach instead of like changing who you are, you know?
Amen.
Actually, great segue. Am I bustos for saying someone got darker after a vacation?
It happens all the time.
I
feel
take
like,
it as a compliment.
It's
feel
how
like-
they're saying it.
but that's what I'm gonna say. I'm like,
That's it.
maybe, like, tell me I just got 10. Tell me I'm glowing.
Yeah. You
I
could
don't
tell
know.
though if they're like, "Ooh, you
Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
you
you
got
got
dark.
And I'm like,
the face.
yeah. You know what my new thing is? This is how I'm supposed to look. I say that because I'm like, we're from the island. Like, we should have been living there. Like, someone lied to our parents and said that Canada was gonna be the place.
To quote Jada, let us be brown.
Let
Yeah.
us be brown.
Let the melanin.
Yes, give me the sun.
Am I bustos for getting a nose job and not telling my family?
To each his own, I guess. I mean, it's a personal choice. I'm gonna say that's their thing. Let's go there.
Yeah.
I grew up like
Everyone,
Yep.
everyone knows what we're talking about when we're talking about the pinch.
You guys all know.
Nose bridge.
that's a real thing, and I will say that I had to unlearn my parents on that with my girls. That and the word sexy.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
So talking beauty, they like. I'm just saying they, not just pinpointing, but
No,
just
yeah.
like that old school, traditional, generational. Maybe they didn't know all the other words. like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just learning. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
why is only sexy the only word that you're
Yeah.
calling a 5-year-old? Like,
That's
so
not,
true.
not acceptable.
Context, yeah.
Not acceptable.
Oh my
And I
God.
had to shut it down right away, super fast.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
before,
it just
but you're-
registered, but
And
you're
for me, it's
absolutely
like
right.
it's a norm. Like, I see my tita. It's either I have one tita. She goes, "Oh, Oprah." I was like, "Okay, rude, but whatever." And then another tita who's like, "Oh, so sexy," but it's just so.
But when you think
common,
about
but
it,
if
that's
you break
happened
that down,
since
and
we were
especially context,
forever.
it's
Yeah.
being said to a child.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Total-
That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Good
All
call.
day long. I'm like, oh, you can't say that.
Yeah.
Like, don't like objectify them. Don't
sure.
sexualize
Yeah.
them. Don't like you can say you look beautiful.
Yeah.
You can say, oh, you look pretty. Like, yes, but I think, or that looks nice. Not
Yes.
just always going to vanity, because that is probably what we grew up with
Exactly.
and not, right? If
Yeah.
you had that or not. So
Good call out.
Am
Wow.
I bustos for telling my daughter to not cut her hair short because lalaki ang muka?
I'm gonna say yes, Bastos. And I've been that. I think I always teach my team, we are the professionals. If they choose to have someone as their support, like if their friend is visiting, or if a husband or a partner or a boyfriend comes and tries to give their 2 cents,
Oh, yeah.
I teach my team to shut that down right away.
Good. Yeah.
They're invited to our space, but they do not have a say.
She's talking to the camera, y'all.
Yeah. That's right. You just
hear this
And the
one.
hand is up.
The
You
hand
cannot
up.
do that. I could see it. Like if it's not my client and I can see that happen, I will walk over there.
Hey.
But that's why the salon is, or the
Yeah.
studio is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, you have to stay diligent with that
Yeah.
kind of stuff as well.
And that's the thing. It's like, how can we strengthen self-image if we allow things like that to happen? You know what I mean? Like that's bad practices that were from generational.
Yeah.
I don't know, before
Colonization.
Colonization.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But I think it's like back in the day, that's how it used to be. They had a say about how a woman should look like, or women weren't able to speak for themselves, and it's scary when you still see it exist.
For sure.
And in some cultures more than other. And we're downtown Toronto, so I see all of it. So it's scary when you see it. So I think it's like our job to be able to be kind of their safe space and to say, oh, you know, that's great. Let me ask her what she would like, because this is her hair, this is her body, and she's gonna wear it every day. And that is actually not realistic, because I've had everything from like, oh, turn my wife like from black hair to like blonde in a second, and this and that, and I was just like, no.
I love how men think it works like that.
Yeah. And not all men, but in some, you know,
for
like
sure.
definitely not all
men.
Not all men, but it was just in that moment I was like, oh my God.
I love that. And no, honestly, like I appreciate the work that you do. I think, you know, there's the beauty industry, but with yourself, your teams, you are changing what that narrative looks like. And that's so important, especially for this upcoming generation. So
Thank
you for that.
Thanks, Lee.
And the representation that you always...
Yeah, she stays repping, okay?
Always.
I know that
Always. Right here, right here.
for a fact. But before we go, is there, I guess, any projects that you're excited that you want to plug? If you want to share your handles or any word for the masses.
Oh, I love that. Follow us on HAIRLOVE Studio Inc. On our IG. We're really trying to level up this year. HAIRLOVE is celebrating their 10-year anniversary next year.
Amazing.
For any entrepreneurs and small business owners, you know, that's not an easy milestone to hit. So for us, we're super, super proud. And I'm just gonna shout out everyone who's been supporting this journey since my journey here to Toronto, to be able to sit here with you guys today and share my stories and to listen. I really appreciate you guys. But yeah, I love being part of our community, and will continue doing what I can to do. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
There you go.
Beautiful.
So beautiful.
I'm
like in awe at your energy.
You guys are so good.
Personally look at you like...
I want you guys to come in. We could do like Tita Salita in the HAIRLOVE's like spa day or hair day, and
well, don't tempt us.
This was a good time.
But yes, no, thank you again for coming on the show. Another episode, locked and loaded. Thank you for joining us.
HAIRLOVE.
Definitely hit them up, and until next time, ingat.
I love that.
Not a little.